So you want to see the poster?
Who do you want to get? So you want to be in the middle? Sure.
Well, good afternoon. We're all members of the Energy and Commerce Committee, and we're here today because HHS Secretary Beccera has failed to follow the Constitution and the law. There's been a complete breakdown of accountability at the agency that has lost the trust of the American people, especially during COVID-19. 14 NIH officials, including Dr. Fauci, held unlawful positions and exercised authority that they didn't have, which included approving $26 billion in grants. This is unprecedented, and it calls into question the validity of every decision that these officials have made since December 2021 to June 2023, including Dr. Fauci's awarding a new grant to EcoHealth Alliance, which is, but what is even more egregious has been Health and Human Services cover-up. For more than a year, the administration has misled our committee throughout this investigation, and our question has been a pretty simple one. Can you show us the documents that Secretary Becerra followed the Constitution and the law in reappointing these 14 senior officials who exercised immense power and authority? The question, can you show us the documents? And we're still waiting. There needs to be accountability. No one is above the law. Americans need to know that their tax dollars are being spent responsibly, effectively, and lawfully, and that the people making these decisions are lawfully authorized to make them. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to the chairman of the Oversight and Investigations Subcommittee, Morgan Griffith.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I adopt all the things that Chairwoman Rogers just said. But let me say this. This is very frustrating. It is typical of the Biden administration not to follow the rules, not to pay attention to the law. This law was put in.
Given, as you heard from the introduction, that I have been around for a while and have had the opportunity and the privilege and the pleasure of serving in 5 administrations, I thought I would bring that perspective to the topic today, is the issue of pandemic preparedness. And if there's one message that I want to leave with you today based on my experience, and you'll see that in a moment, is that there is no question that there will be a challenge, the coming administration, in the arena of infectious diseases, both chronic infectious diseases in the sense of already ongoing disease, and we have certainly a large burden of that, but also there will be a surprise outbreak. And I hope by the end of my relatively short presentation, you will understand why history, the history of the last 32 years that I've been the director of NIAID, will tell the next administration that there's no doubt in anyone's mind that they will be faced with the challenges that their predecessors were faced with. So for those who think that infectious diseases is gone, there's so many people who've made foolhardy statements not knowing at the time that they made them. I usually show a quote from an old Surgeon General or an old pundit in infectious disease. So I thought I'd pull this one out from Sir Macfarlane Burnet, who was actually a Nobel Prize winning immunologist, who made the statement, as many did, to write about infectious diseases is almost to write of something that has passed into history. The most likely forecast about the future of infectious diseases is that it will be very dull, which is really kind of interesting coming from a semi-genius like Macfarlane Burnet. And I think what he did, and the mistake that so many people have made, is something that several of our panelists have already referred to. And that is a failure to look beyond our own borders in the issue of the globality of health issues. Not only things that are there that will come here, but surprises that we have. What are the lessons that we learned from HIV? One, you have to commit substantial financial and human resources. These things don't get addressed spontaneously by themselves. You have to enlist the best and the brightest investigators in both basic and clinical research. You have to involve the community, be it the gay community in the United States or the community in Africa and West Africa when we dealt with Ebola, or the people in South America when we're dealing with Zika. You have to have cross-sector collaboration. You can't do it alone. The CDC can't do it alone. The NIH can't do it alone. You do it with all of us, with industry, with global organizations, with philanthropy and NGOs, and you gotta get the leaders and the policymakers involved. What is for sure, that no matter what, history has told us definitively that it will happen, because infectious diseases, as I said 8 years ago in this article with David Morins and Greg Fokers, that it is a perpetual challenge. It is not going to go away. So the thing we're extraordinarily confident about is that we are going to see this in the next few years. Thank you.
When I was a kid, the disaster we worried about most was a nuclear war. That's why we had a barrel like this down in our basement filled with cans of food and water. When the nuclear attack came, we were supposed to go downstairs, hunker down, and eat out of that barrel. Today, the greatest risk of global catastrophe doesn't look like this. Instead, it looks like this. If anything kills over 10 million people in the next few decades, it's most likely to be a highly infectious virus rather than a war. Not missiles, but microbes. Now, part of the reason for this is that we've invested a huge amount in nuclear deterrence, but we've actually invested very little in a system to stop an epidemic. We're not ready for the next epidemic. Let's look at Ebola. I'm sure all of you read about it in the newspaper. Lots of tough challenges. I followed it carefully through the case analysis tools we use to track polio eradication. And as you look at what went on, the problem wasn't that there was a system that didn't work well enough. The problem was that we didn't have a system at all. In fact, there are some pretty obvious key missing pieces. We didn't have a group of epidemiologists ready to go who would have gone, seen what the disease was, see how far it had spread. The case reports came in on paper. It was very delayed before they were put online, and they were extremely inaccurate. We didn't have a medical team ready to go. We didn't have a way of preparing people. Now, Médecins Sans Frontières did a great job orchestrating volunteers, but even so, we were far slower than we should have been getting the thousands of workers into these countries. And a large epidemic would require us to have hundreds of thousands of workers. There was no one there to look at treatment approaches, no one to look at the diagnostics, no one to figure out what tools should be used. As an example, we could have taken the blood of survivors, processed it, and put that plasma back in people to protect them, but that was never tried. So there was a lot that was missing, and these things are really a global failure. The WHO is funded to monitor epidemics, but not to do these things I talked about. Now in the movies, it's quite different. There's a group of handsome epidemiologists ready to go. They move in, they save the day, but that's just pure Hollywood. The failure to prepare could allow the next epidemic to be dramatically more devastating than Ebola. Let's look at the progression of Ebola over this year. About 10,000 people died, and nearly all were in the 3 West African countries. There's 3 reasons why it didn't spread more. The first is there was a lot of heroic work by the health workers. They found the people and they prevented more infections. The second is the nature of the virus. Ebola does not spread through the air. And by the time you're contagious, most people are so sick that they're bedridden. Third, it didn't get into many urban areas, and that was just luck. If it had gotten into a lot more urban areas, the case numbers would have been much larger. So next time we might not be so lucky. You can have a virus where people feel well enough while they're infectious that they get on a plane or they go to a market. The source of the virus could be a natural epidemic like Ebola, or it could be bioterrorism. And so there are things that would literally make things 1,000 times worse. In fact, let's look at a model of a virus spread through the air like the Spanish flu back in 1918. So here's what would happen. It would spread throughout the world very, very quickly. And you can see there's over 30 million people die from that epidemic. So this is a serious problem. We should be concerned. But in fact, we can build a really good response system. We have the benefits of all the science and technology that we talk about here. We've got cell phones to get information from the public and get information out to them. We have satellite maps where we can see where people are and where they're moving. We have advances in biology that should dramatically change the turnaround time to look at a pathogen and be able to make drugs and vaccines that fit for that pathogen. So we can have tools, but those tools need to be put into an overall global health system, and we need preparedness. The best lessons, I think, on how to get prepared are, again, what we do for war. For soldiers, we have full-time waiting to go. We have reserves that can scale us up to large numbers. NATO has a mobile unit that can deploy very rapidly. NATO does a lot of war games to check, are people well trained? Do they understand about fuel and logistics and the same radio frequencies? So they are absolutely ready to go. So those are the kinds of things we need to deal with an epidemic. What are the key pieces? First is we need strong health systems in poor countries. That's where mothers can give birth safely, kids can get all their vaccines, but also where we'll see the outbreak very early on. We need a medical reserve corps, lots of people who've got the training and background who are ready to go with the expertise. And then we need to pair those medical people with the military, taking advantage of the military's ability to move fast, do logistics, and secure areas. We need to do simulations, germ games, not war games, so that we see where the holes are. The last time a germ game was done in the United States was back in 2001, and it didn't go so well. So far, the score is germs 1, people 0. Finally, we need lots of advanced R&D in areas of vaccines and diagnostics. There are some big breakthroughs, like the adeno-associated virus, that could work very, very quickly. Now, I don't have an exact budget for what this would cost, but I'm quite sure it's very modest compared to the potential harm. The World Bank estimates that if we have a worldwide flu epidemic, global wealth will go down by over $3 trillion, and we'd have millions and millions of deaths. These investments offer significant benefits beyond just being ready for the epidemic. The primary health care, the R&D, those things would reduce global health equity and make the world more just as well as more safe. So I think this should absolutely be a priority. There's no need to panic. We don't have to hoard cans of spaghetti or go down into the basement, but we need to get going because time is not on our side. In fact, if there's one positive thing that can come out of the Ebola epidemic, it's that it can serve as an early warning, a wake-up call to get ready. If we start now, we can be ready for the next epidemic. Thank you.
Tensions flared at Woolworths Chullora around 7 o'clock this morning when 3 women became involved in a toilet paper tussle.
I just want one pack. No, not one pack.
Staff rushed to aisle 11 to intervene.
Yeah, it's one thing.
Stop. Call the police.
Call the police.
It's not the Thunderdome. It's not Mad Max. We don't need to do that.
Officers spoke to a 49-year-old woman who told them she'd been assaulted. No arrests have been made, but police are looking for the other 2 women.
It's just bad behaviour by people that are panicking, and there's no need for any of that panic.
Woolworths released a statement saying, "We will not tolerate violence of any kind from our customers in our stores, and we are working with police who are investigating the matter."
This is a time for people to remain calm, a time for Australians to pull together, to work together, to respect their fellow citizens.
Health authorities are urging people not to bulk buy, concerned the elderly and other vulnerable groups will suffer.
There's no reason to have months worth.
Welcome back. A $140 million government contract is under question right now. The Defense Department says it's to acquire syringes for COVID vaccines, but claims online are questioning why the syringes have trackers in them. Well, we had our Verify team look into the claims. Here's our Jason Puckett with more.
There are 2 articles that we're focusing on. This one in naturalnews.com and this one in breakingisraelnews.com. Both talk about a government contract to buy syringes with RFID tracking for COVID vaccinations. Now, these articles led to social media posts claiming the COVID vaccine will contain a chip to track you.
Seriously asked during a hearing whether COVID-19 vaccines have a tracking device in them. Now, I know we see this on Facebook. Okay, your wacky uncle might be sharing it. But this is not your wacky uncle. This is, well, maybe it's someone's wacky uncle. This is an actual elected official. It is Supervisor Don Wagner from Orange County, representing many, many people. The question came at an Orange County Board of Supervisors meeting where the prospect of so-called vaccine passports was being discussed. Now, we know that Don Wagner himself has been vaccinated. He tweeted back on April 3rd with a picture of himself, one and done with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Start to finish was 45 minutes. Great job to everybody, and thank you to Dr. Chow for administering my shot, quick and painless. But here is the same Don Wagner apparently asking the same Dr. Chow, it seems, who administered his vaccine, about tracking devices. You have to see it to believe it. Take a look.
It's only at the patient's request.
That's correct.
Does it, is there any intention of tracking folks?
Nope.
Is there any in the vaccine? We heard about an injection of a tracking device. Is that being done anywhere? In Orange County?
I'm sorry, I just have to compose myself. There's not a vaccine with a tracking device embedded in it that I know of exists in the world.
To the coronavirus outbreak this morning, a lot of misinformation floating around about COVID-19. We are here to set that fact from fiction for you. We're going to get right to it. The claim we're looking at right now, the U.S. is developing an antivirus that includes a chip to track your movement. Let's fact check this. This is completely fiction. Absolutely not. This is wrong on several levels. PolitiFact says this theory circulating the internet started on Facebook. The posts claimed the U.S. government will soon have an antivirus for the novel coronavirus that includes inserting a RFID chip into your body to track your movements. This is not even close to being accurate. The post was flagged on Facebook as part of its efforts to combat false news. First of all, an antivirus typically refers to a software designed to detect and eliminate computer viruses, not in the human body. Second, that RFID chip refers to radio frequency identification technology, which has been around since the 70s, and those chips are routinely used to track your pets. But they're about the size of a grain of rice. They would never be able to fit into a vaccine needle. This is more of a conspiracy theory, people who are afraid of an invasion of privacy, but regardless, it's completely untrue. And we'll continue to fact check all of these coronavirus rumors this morning. Coming up, we check another claim floating around.
Well, each of these devices that are injected have the capacity to also have a small chip. What that chip does is it has the unique serial number for each dose. It is designed so that there is no counterfeiting. It's designed so that we'll know exactly that the right dose hasn't expired. However, that chip only refers to the dose. There's no personal information, no patient information.
If you were injected with graphene. Graphene is only 1 atom thick. Discovering it has revolutionized battery and information technology since it's 100 times stronger than steel and powerful enough to repel most gases and liquids. If graphene were injected into your body, a small amount could cross the important blood-brain barrier. Most of it would dissolve over the next 2 days. However, the jagged graphene nanoparticles could pierce your blood cells and completely disrupt their functions. And if it damaged your kidney cells, proteins could leak into your urine. This would make your eyes and ankles swell. This condition, known as nephrotic syndrome, would also kill your appetite. Technically, you wouldn't die, but one thing is for sure, it wouldn't be a pleasurable experience because...
Previously, I broke down the exact ingredients found in the mRNA vaccines against COVID-19 and compared those to what traditional vaccines typically have for other pathogens. But now, since Johnson & Johnson and AstraZeneca Oxford are beginning to finish up their clinical trials, I wanted to break down the exact components found in the viral vector vaccines as well. Now, of course, first they contain the adenovirus, which is the delivery system to give our bodies the DNA instructions for the spike protein of SARS-CoV-2. This is what's going to allow our bodies to create the immune response and then protect us from this virus in the future. Next, they contain sugar to help protect this adenovirus over storage time. They also contain something called polysorbate 80, which is an emulsifier. This means it prevents different ingredients from separating over time. Now, you can think of this like an oil and vinegar dressing. If it's left on the shelf, it's going to create 2 different layers, and we don't want that to happen with these vaccines, so polysorbate 80 is added. Now, this is also found in other foods such as ice cream or different custards. Additionally, in very small amounts, these vaccines contain alcohol and magnesium. The alcohol is necessary to help keep the adenovirus stable, and the magnesium is necessary to help stabilize the DNA within the adenovirus. Now, when our cells in our own bodies do a process called replication, they need magnesium present in order to make more DNA. So magnesium is necessary to help protect that DNA found in the adenovirus and give us a good vaccine. Now, just like
watch as this assembly line pumps out tiny machines called micromotors. These micromotors are only a few hundred micrometers long, and they can move when put inside a magnetic field. Scientists propose that micromotors like these could one day deliver drugs inside the body or clean up wastewater by absorbing pollutants. Micromotors can propel themselves in a number of ways. A popular way to get around is to use a chemical fuel, such as hydrogen peroxide. Materials in the micromotors react with the fuel to produce jets of gas bubbles that push the tiny particles forward. But this approach can introduce toxic compounds into the motor's surroundings. Ditching the fuel and just using an external magnetic field to move the motors avoids these toxicity issues. It's a strategy that's also well suited for biomedical applications because magnetic fields can penetrate the body. Now, a team of researchers at the Chinese University of Hong Kong and Huacheng University of Science and Technology have developed novel magnetic responsive micromotors made of graphene. Researchers can easily attach other molecules to graphene, and the material has a high surface area, which makes it attractive for picking up pollutants. The corkscrew shape helps micromotors move in a rotating magnetic field, but it's been challenging to make helical micromotors from graphene until now. To make the micromotors, the team developed a cheap microfluidic method. The team pumps oil through a solution of graphene oxide and magnetic iron oxide, and a solution of sodium alginate. What comes out are tiny corkscrews with an oil droplet head attached to a graphene oxide-based tail, all of which are sealed inside a sodium alginate fiber. The helical motors get their signature shape through the liquid rope coil effect. This effect depends on precisely controlling the flow speed of each fluid. For instance, if the oil is injected slowly, the material comes out fairly straight, but as you increase the oil speed, you'll see the material start to form coils. The team takes the coils they made and reduces the graphene oxide to graphene, then washes away the oil and sodium alginate to isolate individual graphene micromotors. By applying a magnetic field, the researchers could navigate the micromotors through a microfluidic channel, and they found that motors that have smaller diameters and more space between their coils moved best. The team also attached silver to the micromotors to investigate their ability to kill bacteria. The silver micromotors could kill E. coli in a petri dish, most effectively when they were moved around by a magnetic field. While micromotors haven't appeared in real-world applications yet, many devices, like this one, are moving forward.
And never miss an update. You may have come across a viral news item of Nobel laureate Lou Montagnier, in which it is purported that the scientist claimed that whosoever took the COVID-19 vaccine will die in 2 years. If you have not come across it, then you can mark yourself safe from fake news. But this is what the Nobel laureate said. The Nobel laureate has called mass vaccination against coronavirus during the pandemic unthinkable and a historic blunder that is creating the variants and leading to deaths from the disease. He has also raised concerns about antibody-dependent enhancement, or ADE. ADE is a phenomenon where antibodies formed can be beneficial to the virus and for its self-replication. However, this is...
Take the vaccine, please.
That's the message tonight from Kyle Zook, even after his dad died 4 days after getting his second shot of Pfizer vaccine. The cause of his sudden death still not known tonight.
And within a couple hours, he just couldn't breathe on his own. He had stomach problems. He was complaining that he wasn't feeling good. And by the time he clocked out, he couldn't breathe at all.
That was January 5th. Within hours, Tim Zook was admitted into the ER of the same hospital he was working at. 2 days later,
he was so bad, he voluntarily told them, "Put me on a ventilator. I want to live." Those were his last words.
Zook was 60 years old. He was so excited to get a second Pfizer vaccination, he posted it on social media. Kyle Zook said his dad repeatedly tested negative for COVID. He had high blood pressure but was otherwise healthy. As the OC coroner investigates the cause of his dad's death, Kyle says his family is not blaming Pfizer.
My dad spent 35 years in the hospital, or in the field he worked at. He would want people to take the vaccine. He fought 9 months in the hospital with COVID, coming home every day tired. The things he saw, he doesn't want people to go through COVID. He would want people to take the vaccine.
But Kyle urged people to do their research before taking anything. He says he plans to wait until the toxicology tests from his dad's autopsy come back. The vaccine adverse reporting system, which officials caution are unverified reports of health events after vaccinations, has logged 130 deaths this year out of 23.5 million doses of the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines given.
I want my dad's story to be out there. I'm not saying anti-vax. I'm not saying
is evaluating the medical records of 28 people who died after taking the COVID-19 vaccine. 24 of them had taken the Pfizer jab. The authority has received over 3,700 reports of adverse effects. Let's discuss this now with Joe Barnes, who is an epidemiologist from the University of Stellenbosch. Thank you so much for making time. So we see there are some complaints that have been registered with SAPRA. Some people have been detailing their experiences on social media. What do you make of the complaints? And should people start getting concerns?
Good afternoon. No, I don't think so, because there is no vaccine on earth that doesn't have in a very small number of people, some kind of adverse events. And the 3,730 reports received by SAPRA, if you break that down, it was 279 events of special interest, which means that they were more serious, and there were 28 fatalities that they are investigating. Now, what I have anecdotally seen from those 28, most of them were in the elderly, from what I have seen. One needs to keep in mind that those 28 will now be very deeply investigated with post-mortem investigations and tests and looking at the medication that they had been taking before and what other comorbidities they suffered from. And I have no doubt in my mind that at least some of those 28 will be declared the death not related to the vaccine, which leaves us fewer than 28 out of 5.5 million people that have received the vaccine.
Yeah, and
1 million for J&J and 4.5 million for Pfizer. So it is not surprising that there are more Pfizer-related cases because there were more Pfizer-related vaccinations done.
Yeah, so all vaccines, and people maybe need to understand that all vaccines will produce some side effects. What advice do you have for people that are getting jabs and they want to be able to pick up when perhaps there's a side effect that should be of concern and requires medical attention?
You will get some discomfort in some people at the injection site, at the arm in the arm that has received the injection. Some soreness and possibly some swelling and a little bit of pain.
Welcome to this talk now. We're going to be looking at a case today of damage to the brain and damage to the myocardium after COVID-19 vaccination. But the question is this damage to the brain and heart caused by the vaccine, or is it caused by the natural infection? Well, we actually found out, or the researchers in this study found out, that the damage in the brain and the heart was caused by the vaccine, not the infection, because they only found the spike protein in the brain and in the heart. The spike protein had actually been produced, we believe, by the cells in the brain and the heart. As the RNA circulated around the brain and the heart, these cells produced the spike protein, and that caused the inflammatory reaction that caused the damage. If it had been natural infection, there would have been spike protein and nucleocapsid protein. And actually the nucleocapsid protein is the most abundant protein produced by the virus, so there would have been loads of it. So we can say definitively that this damage was caused by vaccine, not by the natural infection. Let's have a look at the proof for that.
Hi, I'm Gregory Schneider. I work in the team of Case Decker, and I work on designing graphene nanopores to sequence DNA at a single molecule level. So the idea of DNA sequencing is to read the content of your genome. And what you want is a recorder that can read the sequence of your DNA, but for that you need a recorder that is not bigger than the size of a single base. So we are using graphene because graphene is only 1 atom thin. So we are really doing high technology with very simple methods. So we take a piece of graphite here, we put the graphite onto the Scotch tape, we exfoliate once, we take a silicone wafer here, in which that we bring into contact with the graphene, we press hard, we end up with a piece of wafer that somewhere has a graphene layer. And then we'll bring that chip to a transmission electron microscope to burn a nanopore into it. So then we take this chip, we flow on both sides a buffer, and on one side we inject the DNA molecule, and that's what we can record. There are still a few challenges to overcome, but all the technology I mentioned is in the size of this little chip here that could be used by a physician in his office to sequence the DNA of one of his patients in only a few minutes rather than a few days.
casket liners in them. It's been full. Now this time I just randomly rode by this area and look at how many, all that red dirt there that you see, you see those caskets back there. All that red dirt that you see there used to be laid caskets liners. All of those are gone. All of those are gone. And I'll repeat it. Everywhere do you see red dirt right there used to be those black casket liners. So apparently a good amount of those casket liners have been taken up, possibly for use.
Thank you for tuning in. We have the gematria reading of Xavier Beccera. Hebrew gematria 1271, English gematria 786, simple gematria 131, which connects to outlaw. Hebrew gematria 1271, which connects back to Xavier Beccera, Hebrew gematria 1271. We have next tumbleweed, Hebrew gematria 1271, which connects to Xavier Beccera, Hebrew gematria 1271. We have Xavier Beccera, which connects to devil in a nutshell, Hebrew gematria 1271. We have Xavier Beccera, which connects to son murderers, children killers, Hebrew gematria 1271. We have next Xavier Beccera, Hebrew gematria 1271, which connects to describe the rapture for little children. Please, I would like to hear it. Let's continue. We have Xavier Beccera, Hebrew gematria 1271, which connects to Shannon Roman Jeffries. We have next Xavier Beccera, Hebrew gematria 1271, which connects to World So Cold. We have next Xavier Beccera, English gematria 786, simple gematria 131, which connects to Prince Charles. We have next Xavier Beccera, which connects to the Angel of Death, English gematria 786, simple gematria 131. We have next Xavier Beccera, English gematria 786, simple gematria 131, which connects to Sam Bankman Fried. We have next Phi Network, English gematria 786, simple gematria 131, which connects to Xavier Beccera, English gematria 786, simple gematria 131. We have next Xavier Beccera, English gematria 786, simple gematria 131, which connects to Psychopath. We have next Gary Gensler, English gematria 786, simple gematria 131, which connects to Psychopath, as well as everything that I said previous, all the way up to Xavier Beccera. We have next here Xavier Beccera, English gematria 786, simple gematria 131, Plan Pandemic. We have next Xavier Beccera, English gematria 786, simple gematria 131, which connects to Spy Balloon. We have English gematria 786, simple gematria 131, Narcissist, which connects to Xavier Beccera. Next, we have Pharmaceutical, English gematria 786, simple gematria 131, which connects to Xavier Beccera. We have Xavier Beccera, English gematria 786, simple gematria 131, which connects to graphene oxide. We have next Hebrew gematria 1271, evil calculations, which connects to Xavier Beccera, Hebrew gematria 1271. We have Xavier Beccera, English gematria 786, simple gematria 131, which connects to crucifixion. We have next Hebrew gematria 1271, which connects to Xavier Beccera. Jason. Now those are the Jason scientists, folks. Let's continue. We have Hebrew gematria 1271, terrible, miserable day of the Lord, which connects to Xavier Beccera. We have Xavier beccera, Hebrew Gematria 1271, which connects to the Wiccan books. We have next, Hebrew Gematria 1271, Illuminati is evil, which connects to beccera, Xavier beccera. We have next here, Xavier beccera, Hebrew Gematria 1271, which connects to Malungler, crushes Bill, H, Gates, a fraud. We have next, provided the proof, Hebrew Gematria 1271, which connects to Xavier beccera, Hebrew Gematria 1271. We have next, Hebrew Gematria 1271, Willard Smith, which connects to Xavier beccera, Hebrew Gematria 1271. We have Notoriously Immoral, Hebrew Gematria 1271, which connects to everything previously that I said before Notoriously Immoral, all the way back up to Xavier beccera, Hebrew Gematria 1271. We have William Gates, English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131, which connects all the way back up to Xavier beccera, English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131. We have Xavier beccera, English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131, which connects to death penalty. We have next, Xavier beccera, English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131, safe and effective. We have next, Chadwick Boseman, English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131, which connects to Xavier beccera. We have English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131, serial killer, which connects to Xavier beccera. The gloves are off, English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131, which connects to Xavier beccera, English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131. We have next here, Xavier beccera, English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131, which connects to the Great Beast. We have Manifestation of Evil, Hebrew Gematria 1271, which connects to the Great Beast, which connects to everything that I said previous, all the way back up to Xavier beccera, Hebrew Gematria 1271. We have next, Army Russian October, Hebrew Gematria 1271, which connects to Xavier beccera, Hebrew Gematria 1271. We have Xavier beccera, Hebrew Gematria 1271, which connects to Dark Waters. We have I'm Revealing Secrets, Hebrew Gematria 1271, which connects to Xavier beccera, Hebrew Gematria 1271. We have He Sold His Car So They Can't Kill Him. Next we have Don J. Trump, English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131, which connects to Xavier beccera, English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131. Make America Great Again, English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131, which connects to Xavier beccera, English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131. We have the Fourth Reich, English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131, which connects to Xavier beccera, English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131. We have Killuminati, English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131, which connects to Xavier beccera, English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131. We have Rose Cross, English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131, which connects to Xavier beccera, English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131. We have Joan Rivers, English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131, which connects to Xavier beccera, English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131. We have Investigate, English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131, which connects to the Joan Rivers, which connects all the way back up to Xavier beccera, English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131. We have next, ex-girlfriend, English Gematria 786, simple Gematria 131, which connects to Xavier Becerra, English Gematria 786, simple Gematria 131. We have investigate, Hebrew Gematria 786, simple Gematria 131, which connects to Trump Pence. Goes all the way back up to Xavier Becerra, English Gematria 786, simple Gematria 131. So we have Marine Elizabeth Martin, Hebrew Gematria 1271, which connects to Xavier Becerra, Hebrew Gematria 1271. We have Gerard Motion Ross, Hebrew Gematria 1271, which connects to Xavier Becerra, Hebrew Gematria 1271. We have Athena Brownfield, Hebrew Gematria 1271, which connects to Xavier Becerra, Hebrew Gematria 1271. We have next Xavier Becerra, Hebrew Gematria 1271, which connects to Bane of the World. We have next John Henry Meade, Hebrew Gematria 1271, which connects to Anthony Floor, Demons of the Mind. Hebrew Gematria 1271, which connects to Thieves and Robbers. Hebrew Gematria 1271, which connects all the way back up to Xavier Becerra, Hebrew Gematria 1271. We have next, Down Rabbit Hole, Hebrew Gematria 1271, which connects to Becerra, Xavier Becerra, I do apologize, Hebrew Gematria 1271. We have I'm Granting Authority, which connects to the Malinger Guild's Bill Gates fraud, Hebrew Gematria 1271, right? So we have I'm Granting Authority, Hebrew Gematria 1271, which connects to Xavier Becerra, Hebrew Gematria 1271, which directly connects to the Mogliner crushes Bill H. Gates a fraud, Hebrew Gematria 1271. You can't get around it. So we have Constant Psychotic Lies, Hebrew Gematria 1271, which connects to Xavier Becerra, Hebrew Gematria 1271. We have Steve Bannon, English Gematria 786, simple Gematria 131, which connects to Xavier Becerra, English Gematria 786, simple Gematria 131. We have Richard Wiss, English Gematria 786, simple Gematria 131, which connects to Xavier Becerra, English Gematria 786, simple Gematria 131. We have The December Plan, English Gematria 786, simple Gematria 131, which connects to Xavier Becerra, English Gematria 786, simple Gematria 131. We have Ripple December, and I'll say it again, Ripple December, English Gematria 786, simple Gematria 131, which connects to Xavier Becerra, English Gematria 786, simple Gematria 131. We have next Bill Murray, English Gematria 786, simple Gematria 131, which connects to Xavier Becerra, English Gematria 786, simple Gematria 131. We have Geesley Knowles, that is Beyonce, English Gematria 1008, but it connects to Xavier Becerra through Hebrew Gematria 1271. We have Xavier Becerra, Hebrew Gematria 1271, which connects to And Petrifying Swords. Now that's from the Beetlejuice folks, but we'll get to that. We have Xavier Becerra, English Gematria 786, simple Gematria 131, which connects to Box of Pandora. Next we have Golden Age Coming, English Gematria 786, simple Gematria 131, which connects to Xavier Becerra. We have English Gematria 786, simple Gematria 131, which connects to Becerra, Xavier Becerra, a pandemic special. We have next Carl Roberts. We have next Mickey Mantle. We have next Gerald Butler. We have next What a Sleaze Bag, English Gematria 786, simple Gematria 131, which connects to everybody that I just previously said, all the way back up to Xavier Becerra, English Gematria 786, simple Gematria 131. Human Cloning, English Gematria 786, simple Gematria 131, which connects to Xavier, beccera, English gematria 786, simple gematria 131. We have Corey Fisher, English gematria 786, simple gematria 131, which connects to Xavier, beccera, English gematria 786, simple gematria 131. Abomination of desolation exposed, Hebrew gematria 1271, which connects to everything. Next we have Abomination of Desolation Exposed, Hebrew gematria 1271, which connects to Xavier, beccera, Hebrew gematria 1271. Are they that stupid? Hebrew gematria 1271, which connects to Xavier, beccera, Hebrew gematria 1271. We have Xavier, beccera, English gematria 786, simple gematria 131, which connects to Holly Weird. And I'll begin just to read through the phrases because it is taking a while. So we'll go to Xavier, beccera, a great sword. Spirit of Yah, under the law. We have Xavier, beccera, key to the bottomless pit. We have next Xavier, beccera, remain on VACCINATED. We have Xavier, beccera, connected to Skull Festival. We have the Lion of the tribe of Yahuda. Peace. That's me. But let's continue. We have the code. Gematria says, I am the Messiah. Can't get around it, folks. Next we have Xavier, beccera, English gematria 786, simple gematria 131, which connects to tracking device, which is in Hebrew gematria 1271, that connects to Xavier, beccera, Pfizer Pharmaceuticals. We have next the horned one. We have next unscientific eugenics program, which connects to Xavier, beccera. We have George Soros, foul play, Hebrew gematria 1271, which connects to unscientific eugenic programs, Hebrew gematria 1271, which connects to the horned one, which connects to tracking device, which connects to Pfizer Pharmaceuticals, Hebrew gematria 1271, all the way up to Xavier, beccera, Hebrew gematria 1271. We have swamp draining, Hebrew gematria 1271, which connects to Xavier, beccera, Hebrew gematria 1271. We have the ark has been activated. And I say it again, the ark has been activated. We have next, casting cabal down, Hebrew gematria 1271, which connects to Xavier, beccera, Hebrew gematria 1271. We have divine gene attack Satan, Hebrew gematria 1271, which connects to casting cabal down, Hebrew gematria 1271, which connects all the way back up to Xavier, beccera, Hebrew gematria 1271. Let's continue. ID program, our reality. Next we have Jesse Jackson. We have mass murder, English gematria 786, simple gematria 131. We have I am that I am, ancient King David, Hebrew gematria 1271, which connects to. We have bombs dropped on United States, Hebrew gematria 1271, which connects to Xavier, beccera, Hebrew gematria 1271. We have cashless, cashless, don't panic society. Next are the VACCINES, safe, Hebrew gematria 786, simple gematria 131, which connects all the way back up to Xavier, beccera, English gematria 786, simple gematria 131. We have Fausto and Fauci, English gematria 786, simple gematria 131, which connects to R VACCINES, safe. We have graphene, VACCINE, English gematria 786, simple gematria 131, which connects to Faustin Fucci, which connects to ID program or reality, which connects all the way back up to mass murder, which connects to Xavier, beccera, Hebrew gematria, English gematria 786, simple gematria 131. Next we have Psalms 1 verse 1, Hebrew gematria 1271, which connects to Xavier, beccera, Hebrew gematria 1271. And just let me just get to Psalms real quick so I can read you the scripture. This is one of the favorite parts of the videos. And we have Psalms 1 verse 1. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the council. But let me keep reading. But his delight is in the law of Yah, and in his law do he meditate day and night. We have next, God War Engine, Hebrew gematria 1271, which connects to Xavier, beccera, Hebrew gematria 1271. We have Rothschild Funds End Times, English gematria 1271. We have see description of the one in Isaiah fulfilled. We have next, the cabal built the house on sand. And I'll say it again, the cabal built their house on sand. Next we have the fountain of Jacob, Hebrew gematria 1271, which connects to see description of the one in Isaiah fulfilled, Hebrew gematria 1271. We have next Moderna, Lord of VACCINES, Hebrew gematria 1271, which connects to Xavier, beccera, Hebrew gematria 1271. We have Queen Beyonce. Next we have Satan Inbreeds. We have next War is Coming. We have next Chat GPT Drone. We have OBAMA Eating Kids. Next we have Pfizer DAFTHJAB English gematria 786, simple gematria 131, which connects to. Next we have Pfizer DATHJAB English gematria 786, simple gematria 131, which connects to Moderna, Lord of VACCINES, which connects to OBAMA Eating Kids, which connects all the way back up to Xavier, beccera, English gematria 786, simple gematria 131. And I say it again, Pfizer I apologize, Pfizer DEATHJAB. I hope you get it, folks. Let's continue. We have next, pharmaceutical, English gematria 786, simple gematria 131, which connects to Pfizer DEATHJAB, English gematria 786, simple gematria 131. We have Chinese spies, English gematria 786, simple gematria 131, which connects to Xavier, beccera, English gematria 786, simple gematria 131. We have Dark Serpent, Hebrew gematria 475, English gematria 786, simple gematria 131, which connects to Xavier, beccera, English gematria 786, simple gematria 131. Next we have Xavier, beccera, Dr. Fauci email leak, English gematria 786, simple gematria 131, which connects to ex-girlfriend, English gematria 786, simple gematria 131, which connects to evil, English gematria 786, simple gematria 131, which connects to Ophilia, right? I know I'm chopping up and not pronouncing it correctly, but it is an attraction to snakes. English gematria 786, simple gematria 131, which is connect to evil, ex-girlfriend, Dr. Fauci email leak, dark serpents, all the way back up to Xavier, beccera. We have next, the math of Mayat, English gematria 786, simple gematria 131, which connects to Pfizer, DEATHJAB, English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131, which connects all the way back up to Rothschild Funds, End Time Deception, right? All the way back up to Xavier beccera, English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131. We have next, Book of Ruth, English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131. For all the Masonics and Eastern Stars, you know what this is about. I can't elaborate because I'm not trying to catch a strike. You hear what I'm saying? But we have Book of Ruth, English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131, which connects back to everything that I said previously, all the way back up to Xavier beccera, English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131. We have again, Death Penalty, English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131, for all the people that are involved, which I spoke of, DEATHPENALTY, English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131, which connects to Xavier beccera, English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131. Next we have Fetus, Feed Us, English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131, which connects to Xavier beccera, English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131. We have next, Has Biden Gone Mad? English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131, and I think that he has, which connects to Xavier beccera, English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131. Next we have Isaiah 40, Hebrew Gematria 754, English Gematria 786, Simple Gematria 131, and it reads, comfort ye my people, saith Yah. Speak ye comfortably to Jerusalem, and cry unto her that her warfare is accomplished, that her iniquity is pardoned, for she hath received of Yah's hand double for all her sins. The voice of him that crieth in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of Yah, make straight in the desert a highway for our Elohim. Every valley shall be exalted, and every mountain and hill shall be made low. And the crooked shall be made straight, and the rough places plain. And the glory of Yah shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. For the mouth of Yah hath spoken it. The voice said, cry. And he said, what shall I cry? All flesh is grass, and all the goodliness is thereof is as the flower of the field. The grass withereth, the flower fadeth, because of the spirit of Yah bloweth upon it. Surely the people is grass, the grass wherewith the flower fadeth, but the word of Yah shall stand forever. O Zion, that bringeth good tidings, get thee up into the high mountain, O Jerusalem, that bringeth good tidings. Lift up thy voice with strength, lift it up. Be not afraid, say unto the cities of Judah, behold your God. Behold, Yah Elohim will come with strong hand, and his arm shall rule for them. Behold, his reward is with him, and his work before him. He shall feed his flock like a shepherd. He shall gather the lambs with his arms, and carry them in his bosom. And he shall gently lead those that are with young. Who hath measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, and measured out heaven with the span, and can comprehend the dust of the earth in measure, and weight the mountains in scales, and the hills in a balance? Who hath directed the spirit of Yah, or being his counselor hath taught him? With whom took he counsel, and whom instructed him, and taught him in the path of judgment, and taught him knowledge, and showed him the way of understanding? Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance. Behold, he hath taketh up the isles as a very little thing, and Lebanon is not sufficient